Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the LA Sevens. This one, there's a lot on the line for one of these two sides. Fiji are already out of the running for the semi-finals due to their 2 losses in a row. Means that they will not be backing up the title that they got in Singapore last week. But for the Spanish, if they win this game, it will be a 3-way tie between them, New Zealand, and Australia. It will come down to points differential. So for the Spanish, if they can get themselves a decent win here, I believe they would have to win this game by about 8 or 9 points, and they would make their way through as the top qualifier in the group. Looking through the starting lineups, it is Tani Vanuakula for the Fijians, Georgie Nasova, Mothin Othangi, Tario Vailawa, Sato Ranga, Manuele Mai-Samoa, and Tira Walangi, the last man in the Fijian side. For the Spanish, it is Juan Ramos, Manu Moreno, Paul Pla, Joseph Ceres, Alejandro Laforga, Sainz Trapanga, and Eduardo Lopez. So Fiji can stop the Spanish from making their way through, but unfortunately cannot help themselves to a semi-final spot. Want to win by the Kiwis, they need to win by 8, says Kirsten. And there as well, but it's going to be kicked off by Juan Ramos. And we are underway for the last match of this pool. Fiji managing to claim the kickoff nicely, sitting 22 metres out from their line. Manuele Mai-Samoa going away to the right to Rio Vailawa, who had a sensational performance in the last match, but it wasn't quite enough. Scoreboard indicated Australia won, says Bruce. Well, that wasn't the case. 21 points to 19. The New Zealanders did get the victory. Last 2 games left, big sleep for Hamish, says Blues Nat. Although, of course, I will have to schedule all those streams for tomorrow, probably about the 10 or 15 of them. Although the good news is we'll only have about maybe 7 or 8 to schedule for a start, as we won't know who's making it through to the finals, etc. That's going to be nicely claimed in the breakdown for Spain, and they will get themselves the penalty. Fiji are dangerous when they have nothing to play for, says Kiwi Rob. And yeah, I mean, they'll be disappointed with how this one has gone. Couple close games up against New Zealand and Australia, and a couple poor decisions throughout the game that have actually led to them conceding when they have. And now the Spanish, this will be a big chance for them to be able to get their scrum going from about 30 metres out from the line. Looks like they're actually sticking 2 men on the short side here for Spain. They'll be trying to play a few mind games with the Fijians and perhaps all going to shift to the other side. Soon as that ball comes out, which they do, the transition of play from Paul Pla puts it on the outside now for Laforga, who manages the bump of Manuele Mai-Samoa, and it is the try for Spain. Laforga looks like he's hurt himself in the try-scoring celebration, rubbing the back of his head. I'm not too sure how he's injured that. Maybe in the collision with Manuele Mai-Samoa here. I have no idea how Laforga's hurt the back of his head, other than maybe in the... Oh, no, there it is, the knee from one of the Fijian players, an accidental one coming through, so that is why he was rubbing the back of his head. But the kick has missed, and that is going to make the score now 5 points to 0 in favour of the Spanish. A great start to this contest for them. Fiji, they will be once again frustrated with letting through a soft try. But now, going to be putting that ball high, well claimed by Spain again. They need to win up against the Fijians by 8 or more to knock the Australians out of the semi-finals. Laforga puts in the fend. Oh, that ball's going to be loose. Fiji managing to take it back. Felipe Saturanga going across to Georgie Nasova. Question, what do you think of having 3-round World Championship? Says Kiwi Rob. A 3-round World Champ, as in like the 3 Division 1 that they've brought out. That's a big run from Tira Wailangi. Ball on the inside, but finds the Spanish. That looked like it was almost forward into the hands of Joseph Ceres, but the ref does say play on again. Now running forward, Eduardo Lopez got the new kit because of his one getting ripped in the game up against New Zealand. Now sitting with 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Eduardo Lopez told to use it, couldn't get it out of there as he had 3 Fijians all holding on to him. It's going to be the scrum now in favour of Fiji, about 40 metres out from their line. The live standings, the way that they are, Points differential, New Zealand at the top of the bunch with 5, Australia in second with 4, and Spain in third with 2. So a 5-point win would not be enough for the Spanish. They have to win by 8 or more. The season finale features 3 blockbuster Sevens World Championship Series events with 12 teams per gender, determining an annual world champion, says Kiwi Rob. I mean, this one in particular has the 16 teams, doesn't it? In terms of the 8 male, 8 female for the championship, and then the other one, but that is the eventual one for next season. First of all, we have to get through, of course, these games and find out who's going to be in each tier, but that is going to be a good tackle made. Anyway, my Samoa. Going off to Seven Mothana Thangi, Tera Wailangi. Now passing it out wide. Trying to get those couple extra metres for Tani Vanua Kula. Situated out on that left wing. Spain, they have been defending well. They lost up against Australia by 5, the Spanish. So because of those narrow margins, they were able to get themselves those bonus points. Right, playing at the ball there for Manu Moreno. So he has been penalised. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Felipe Satoranga. Passing it across for a big run forward from Mothanathangi. Now pick and go again. Nice offload here for Fiji. Terrio Viola. Oh, he had his neck bent the wrong way there. And it looks like he's not going to be in a good way here, Terrio Viola. Sadly did a headstand. He does not look very good at all. I'm surprised that the ref hasn't actually stopped this one for him. But it looks like he's going to try and get back to his feet. New Zealand are through. They are indeed, yes, confirmed in the semi-finals. But it is not confirmed whether they are going to be ranked number 1 or number 2. They are going back for a penalty. And it's for offside. Looks like, Terrio Vailawi, he's a tough individual. He's got back up and he's decided he's going to continue in this game. But he almost got a weird kind of neck crunch sideways in the way that he hit the turf. Now, have managed to kick that one downfield, Spain, but not managing to find touch with it. So Fiji will get another attacking chance just before the end of the first 7 minutes. Tani Vanua Kula with a nice step. Manu Moreno makes the tackle on him. Is South Africa going to be number 1? That depends on whether or not they beat Argentina, but they have a good chance of being number 1 or 2, as no one else can take that spot. That's going to be knocked on. Oh, Fiji saying there was a deliberate knockdown. It looks like Spain are going to take the advantage and go for the try, but maybe they will go back to have a bit of a look at this one just to make sure that there wasn't a knock on. The ball is put down. Referee awards the try. I don't even think they're going to look at this one. It's like the try scored earlier on against Fiji. That was a clear knock on that everyone just said, oh, well, we'll just play on anyway. We're going to see the replay here. See, it wasn't a mile off Eduardo Lopez's hand. You're not doing the Landers game this afternoon? I am not, no. We've already been up for about 24 hours with over 10 hours of streaming. And we got another all-nighter tomorrow night. So I felt like the Highlanders-Moana game, as much as I'd like to be able to commentate it, should probably try and save some vocal cord for tomorrow. A half-time in this contest, 12-0 for the Spanish. So the way that it sits, they would come through as top qualifier, and New Zealand would be the side who do go through in second place. So there's still a lot of change that can happen. I wonder whether or not that will be something that Fiji, now if they get the early try, maybe not only do they look at decreasing that points differential of the Spanish, but perhaps even we see a Fijian comeback. Looking at the benches for these two sides, some pretty handy players across the board. Basialo there, YC and Natongu, Zanila, and also Nasova is there for the Spanish. They have got Balincias, Trevor Thick, Jamie Manteca. All three of those men could have quite the second half. And I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of these changes are actually going to be made quite early. It's been a bit of a frantic one, and also for the Spanish at the moment, it's a bit of a risk and reward situation. They can make a couple changes for the sake of having fresher players for tomorrow's game trying to avoid those injuries, or they just go hard out and hope that that would be enough to get the points differential. Because that's the thing, if Fiji score one try, Spain theoretically don't go through. They do need to win this game by 8 or more. Now, ready for the kickoff here. The Fijians will be going from right to left. I'll be surprised if they kick off deep here, the Fijians. I saw that Spain were actually all very flat. Oh no, they instead will go high and look to retain it, but nicely taken by Manu Moreno. So the tactic there for Fiji was unsuccessful. Juan Ramos going back across to the left-hand side. Spain maybe don't have enough of a boost at the moment, only by 2 points, says Kiwi Rob. And that's already going to be stolen by Georgie Nasova. And he's trying to get the turnover and the breakdown. Josep Ceres, he is off his feet. And no clear release and a high tackle, so he hasn't really had anything go his way in that breakdown for Josep Ceres. The way that the table currently sits, Spain are sitting in first. But one try for Fiji can literally change so much. They go from number 1 in the rankings all the way down to 3rd place. How are you still going, Kiwi lads? Solid all-nighter plus some, very impressive. Says Razor. Yeah, the body's starting to let me know that I've probably been up too long, but hopefully, we've only got one more game, so we get taken on the Argentines. Sky Sport now has just cut out, which is not ideal, but we know that the Fijians were on attack just at that moment. Hopefully that is not my Wi-Fi wires. Hopefully that is Sky Sport in general. Yeah, we will eagerly await to see what is happening in this one. Hopefully Sky Sport now is not down completely. That would be, connection failed. Please refresh the page is what it says. You refresh the page and then it says connection failed again for Sky Sport now. But Fiji have managed to get themselves a try according to the scoreboard. That is good to know, but this is not good for the Sky Sport Now side of things. We'll have to see whether or not we can get it on Rugby Pass TV just for the rest of this matchup. So I wonder whether or not that's on my side or whether or not that's on Sky, because Rugby Pass is loading. So yeah, I think it might be a Sky Sport Now problem that they have got at the moment. Are you the kind of lad that doesn't need much sleep? I'm an 8-hour minimum sort of lad before I start to get grumpy. No, I'm also need at least 8 hours to be able to function. But we don't get that very often, sadly. Did you pay your Sky bill? The Sky bill has been paid. The yearly subscription is locked in. But yeah, it says connection failed for Sky Sport Now. So that is not ideal. Definitely when the Fijians have started their comeback. Only 7 points difference now between these two sides. But I guess we will try our best to get this one back. Yeah, connection failed. That is a weird message to have come up. Definitely because it's been working all throughout the day. Up until this one. Yeah, not too sure what that means. Working for me here. Says Noel Well, that is ideal. We'll get it up on the iPad, see whether or not we can get it back. I'm on Sky Sport 3 Buzz, still at 5:50. And the second half, says Razor. Wait, still at 5:50. So is yours frozen, Razor, or is it still going for yourself? We will get it up on the iPad for the final moments, hopefully, of this game with Sky Sport Now on me smaller device. We'll have to look at it downwards rather than upwards like we normally would. Apparently, no connection for Sky Sport. One moment. We'll refresh it again and hopefully that will fix it. Still going but delayed, I believe, says Razor. Yeah, currently the points difference between these two sides is sitting at 7. Fiji just scored, and so I've been drinking all day. As we watch the 7, says Razor, so I will go on to Sky Sport 3. We'll go like that. We'll go from live, hopefully. It's going to be back now for myself. And we will get the iPad set up. Taking a while to load, which is a little bit concerning. Fiji just scored, says Razor, so I assume that is the try that was there, making the score 12 points to 7. Right, we're back in. 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Here in this contest, Josep Ceres steps through, and that is not a sight that the Fijians will want to see. The try goes the way of Spain. And Josep Ceres, in fact, it's Eduardo Lopez. I keep on forgetting that that man's the one did lose his kit in the earlier contest, but that will now give Spain back their position through to the next stage of the comp. It just shows how close it can be. The fact that each time that they score and then each time that Fiji score, it can completely change things. He's got his tongue out, poking it at the Fijian players. No wonder New Zealand tried to start a scrap with the Spanish. They are on cloud 9 at the moment. And they will be looking forward to the semis if they can hang on to this lead. Now, Fiji, if they get themselves a converted try from here, that would kick the Spanish, I believe, out of the next stage. In fact, if they did get themselves 7 points here, Fiji, that would actually put them... or in fact, it would have Spain and Australia on the same points. A little bit of a complicated one there. But still plenty to happen. In the last 2.5 minutes, going to be kicked off by Juan Ramos, who just gets at the 10 metres. Nicely taken by Fiji. Georgie Nasova. He's been quite quiet throughout this one. And good to see the Spanish adapting the rat's tail, the classic rugby tradition. Nice step, Fiji, slamming the head back on the turf. Now very close to the sideline, and the touch judge says no. Has not gone out. Bit of a rough pass thrown by Fiji. Big bump off there up the middle of the field, driving with the legs. Now back to the right. Fiji still looking for that next try. The Fen comes in now. I believe if both sides had the points differential exactly the same, the next head-to-head split that they would do is actually result, which would mean that Australia would go through on the technicality. If Fiji were able to get themselves a converted try here, and it doesn't look like the Spanish will be able to catch the Fijian wingy. He's going to run it around as much as he can, Nawai, making it easy for his kicker. And Fiji score the try now between the posts. And that is going to give them a 7 points deficit. He waves to the camera. Sia Nawai, his first try in his international sevens career. And now now means that Spain have the pressure back on them. Because as it currently sits, Australia would be going through alongside New Zealand. So it just shows how close this group was and how much a couple of the results have completely changed things. It's the complete opposite on the other side of the draw. South Africa and Argentina both through. Just more of a question of who will be qualifying first and who will be second. As Samoa knockout or still surviving? Still surviving for now. But they probably do need that win over the Portuguese just to get themselves that little bit further ahead. Spain, New Zealand, Australia, and Fiji is the same pool. Says Razor, that is correct. And come on, Fiji. Says Kiwi Rob. So just the way that it sits at the moment. I hope Spain know this, by the way, because they're leading by 7. But if they were to kick this ball into touch at the end of the half, although Fiji's defence once again lets it slip. Juan Ramos going to be caught looking for the pass on the outside. Goes to Trevor Thick, who scores another one for the Spanish, and that should just about secure the semi-final spot. Unless, I believe they should be able to use up all the time remaining on this clock. So another 10 seconds, and by the time they get back to the mark, I believe this one would be over. Spain again, just a lack of defence from the Fijians. Spain running it through, and they will face off against either South Africa or Argentina. And Aussie are out, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, massive try for the Spanish. The big finish from Trevor Thick. And the kick is unsuccessful. Score sitting with a 12-point difference and 24 points to 12. The win for the Spanish. WF, you still live? How long you been up for? About 24 hours. Somewhere around there. But we've only got one more live stream to go. It is the next match taking place between Argentina and South Africa, kicking off in an hour. So we will be ready to go for that match as well. But New Zealand and also Spain making their way through to the final. Georgie Nasova looking a little bit gutted. I mean, he has hardly been able to touch the ball throughout this competition, let alone score tries. But Fiji, 3 losses in this one. Definitely not how they wanted to end the season. But look forward to still seeing them in next year's comp. Also, they will be playing tomorrow in one of the upcoming games. What time did you wake up today, says Razor? Today I have been awake the whole time. Yesterday around that kind of 12:31ish, somewhere around there. And who do New Zealand play? New Zealand will play either Argentina or they will play up against the South Africans. Now, currently in this pool, because of that try being scored by the Spanish, I believe they qualify as first, which does mean the winner of the game between South Africa and Argentina will face New Zealand. And then whoever loses that game will face Spain. You have to ask the question, who would the teams rather play and who's going to win that Pumas versus South Africa match? But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, in about an hour's time, we will be back for that last match of the day for Argentina versus South Africa. But if you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next game.